Well, hello folks. I'm just going to do a short video, try to make it short, on these top cover mods on these little homeowner saws. This one's a Jonsered CS2137, which is the same as the Poulan 2450s, I believe. I believe they're pretty much identical saws. So this is a saw from the early 2000s. And so we did a muffler mod to it, and I put a carb kit in it and did a few little things. Nothing crazy on the intake, just a little. I might add a little more holes for the intake. There's a hole down in here that is supposed to be the main intake for these, but I plug it off and I open them up out here. So it does two things. It kind of allows more direct path, makes them a lot snappier, and it also lets some heat out when the machine shuts off. It just lets the heat out a little easier. Because all this heat, the way they've designed this thing, all the heat gets trapped in here. So this is how a stock top cover is. And you can see, like up in here, you can see that lip there. And so I'll have to take the cover off, but I'll just show you. So the difference between that saw and my other saw here. So basically these are the same saws. Well, they're similar. Like this is a rigid style. There's no anti-vibe on these. This is a 2150, and the top cover is just a little bit different than the 2450s or this 2137 Jonsered. So what I did was I cut this open here and I cut it here, and I'm gonna have to pop the top cover off here, and I'll show you the fins that I took off in here. And so what it does is it just allows the air to just shoot straight out the side, and I'll show the difference. Like if you hold a piece of paper up, it'll blow the paper right out to 5 or 6 inches away. It'll bend the paper right over. But on this 2137, you don't feel any of it coming out the side. You don't feel any of it coming from the front. So like, I don't know where this heat is supposed to go, but it just seems to be trapped inside. And these saws are famous for, once they get cutting a long time, they start acting up. It's probably because everything's getting so hot, and it's not good for crank seals and bearings. It's not good for anything when they get that hot. This thing runs like a dream. It starts awesome, it runs awesome, it keeps on running. You can cut a whole bunch of firewood, it just runs. And so I cut it here at the back and at the front there where you see it. And then I also trimmed it here. And the idea of that was just, heat is always rising. So when you shut the machine off, that piece of plastic comes up to here. The heat just goes up, and then it just all collects right up in here. There's nowhere for it to go. I guess it could still maybe come out here a bit now. But the way they have it from the factory, and that's the way this cover was, they have it shielded right off. And I think their idea is to kind of blow air across all the fins, but it just doesn't seem to work good at all. And so I'll show you what the other cover looks like on this other 2137. Let's take the cover off here, and you can see the little ridges in here. You can see the sawdust all hitting up in there too. So I take these ridges out. I leave this one in though, so it still directs the air across the. It blows out this way, so it still will be able to blow out the hot air, but I'll take out that ridge and this one and this one. We'll leave that one there, and then it'll just go straight out. And then I even trim it back a bit here, just in here, just a bit, and then it just exposes more of the cooling fins to let the heat out. Okay, so do this at your own risk, obviously, but you can see from the video that it clearly puts out a lot more air. I realize that this saw is idling a bit higher, but I tried the other saw revving it up and it still doesn't put out as much. You can see this one here lets a lot more heat out. My theory is that it gets a lot more heat out. It just seems to work for me, so hope it helps somebody out.